Okay, so I keep getting this message about time alone. I keep hearing time alone. I was actually going to give you a different message, but then I kept on hearing time alone. So I think this one needs to come first. So it's either someone around you needs time alone or you need the time alone. It's one or the other. But I heard this time alone is well needed. So if someone around you is saying that they need time alone and it's annoying to you because you don't know what's wrong with them, you feel like there's something wrong, it's best to just, let them be. If it's bothering you, don't let it, because sometimes people just need time to think. And the more space you give someone, the more respect they have for you, because you're giving them a chance to feel themselves and see themselves and understand what it is that they're feeling. Because many times when one feels like they need time alone, that's like spirit trying to speak to them. So who would we be to interfere with that? When you look at it like that, doesn't make you want to give them their time. Well, not give it to them because they have it, but leave them be. At least that's how I look at it. Like, even me, like, I've had friends and people from the past that I could tell when they're not with it. Because I know when I feel like I'm not with it and I feel like I need time. So I think because I know that I see that in myself, I can see that in other people. And I give grace, and there's something here about giving grace. Spirit wants you to practice giving grace just in case you feel annoyed by anyone around you that says like they need time alone, or they just have this energy that is pushing people away. That energy speaks. Okay, if you pay attention, that energy speaks and says a lot. Many times, very little words mean so much more if you just take time to just pay attention. Many times not saying anything or someone not saying anything says it all. Depending on the context, you will know what is what as long as you're practicing using your discernment in a healthy way. Okay. I just heard sometimes discernment can be flawed if you box it up. Like if you put like these stipulations on discernment and I'm here to make them your own. I'm trying to understand what is this that they're talking about. Okay. Discernment should be universal. Like there should be things that we just know, but there's like an etiquette that's missing. It's like just like giving people their space. I feel like it's hard for people to do that and accept it, because many don't recognize that many people are in different phases in their life, and throughout these different phases, people have different feelings and different emotions that they have to sort through. And emotions can be very heavy on a person, especially for people who don't like to feel. So they try to numb the pain, and often numbing the pain could be either burying it deep down inside, almost being in denial. Well, yeah, being in denial, or like tricking yourself into acting like it doesn't bother you when it does. That's one way that people deal with or don't deal with emotions. And then the other way is like they might bottle it up inside and then one day just blow up on the right one. Like whoever's there at that right time, which is the right wrong time. And then all that was bottled up inside is spewed at one person that most likely doesn't even deserve that energy from them. And then the other possibility of lack of emotional maintenance or attention is like feeling up and down a lot, with your emotions going up and down like a roller coaster. You have really high highs and really low lows. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why it's important for someone to be left alone if they feel like they need that. Okay. I heard not unless you feel like somebody wants to harm themselves in any way, then they need some help. Okay, I'm hearing professional help, but then it's like, what is professional help, right? That's like like if you feel like someone might harm themselves, then they need to go get medical attention and be evaluated and monitored. That's the type of thing I'm talking about, because sometimes you can see that on a person, or they might tell you. Sometimes people will say that they don't want to be here anymore, and they say things like that. So you must pay attention to that too, because you know that's a real thing. Okay, that's one thing. But then also, you don't want to be forcing it, because people have their own will. So a person must agree. Or if they're a minor, then, you know, that goes deep. I don't know why Spirit is taking me there, but that's where I'm at. So I'm going to just leave it there. But just be mindful in that space, okay? That's all I want to say. All right. So, emotions. You hear Spirit much better when you spend time alone in solitude and you really connect. You just hear them better, because distractions, little things like the TV playing in the background, can distract the communication. Silence brings it's like it opens a portal. It opens a pathway, because it's like the frequency can come in and you can catch it. Okay. So if you are the one that's feeling annoyed by somebody saying they need time, let them do what they do. Just leave them alone. People need that in this world, in this life. And, you know, I feel like when you give a person time, they know that you care about them. But when you try to bombard a person for them to talk to you and they're not ready to talk, what do you want them to say if they're not ready? Sometimes people are just not ready to say a thing. They're just not ready. They're not ready yet. They need like time to make sure that they saying what they mean. Sometimes people need to make sure they saying what they mean, and if they're forced to speak too soon, they might not even say what they really meant. Let that one sit with you for a second. Okay? Because what I'm saying is that many people have so much to heal from, and many people have things to heal from that nobody even knows about. And when that happens, a person becomes very fragile. Like at heart, like the whole psyche is sensitive at that point. So it's like they know that any little thing could completely shatter them and make them feel at their worst, at their lowest. So when someone is feeling vulnerable in such a way, they're most people don't want to openly say that, you know. But if you give them time, they'll have enough time to allow communication from God and from the spirit realm to guide them on sorting out their emotions and making sense of them for themselves, and taking time to evaluate whatever is going on in their life so that they can articulate it for themselves first. I feel as though one must be able to articulate a situation for themselves before they could articulate to anybody else. They must understand what's going on inside first. So that's a message to you if you feel as though someone is like ignoring you or whatever. I mean, sometimes people do ignore, so you have to use your discernment to know that too. I don't want you guys to get stuck trying to wait for somebody and being patient for someone who really is not interested in talking to you, because sometimes that's what it is too. So this is when discernment comes in. If somebody's being outright rude and disrespectful to you, then, I mean, sometimes it's because they're having trouble with their emotions, or it's like they just outright rude and disrespectful. You have to be able to tell the difference between the two, because sometimes people, if you try to force somebody to do something or be a certain way, and they don't feel like that in that moment, and you're pushing and you're poking at them, like poking at the bear is going to want to attack. So it'll be an immediate, abrupt response that if you had have left them alone, you would have never experienced that from them. Because you have to think about someone who is going through mixed emotions and trying to sort it out, and then somebody keeps like nagging them. That's adding on to the problem, you know. And I'm not okaying disrespect, but at the same time, it's also respectful to allow someone to have the time that they need to figure whatever it is out. Now, if it's you that needs time, just say it, that you need time. And if someone tries to like push you or make you feel like you're wrong for needing time by yourself, explain to them that you feel like they're disrespecting and devaluing you in a way. If that's how you feel, you don't have to word it like how I did. That's just what came to mind. Because through giving someone space, it's like you're honoring them in a way. Because sometimes people just need time. People have so many things going on in life that it could get overwhelming. And when you're alone, you could think about what to do next, or what you want to do, or what didn't work, or why it didn't work. You just need to get through all of these pathways. It's like pathways of the mind to make sense of the experience or experiences. And it's like in that time of solitude, a solution forms of what to do next. Maybe there is something that's going on in your life where you're really just trying to sort it out and make sense of it, because it just feels like everything is everywhere. And it's hard for you to make sense of what it is that you're really feeling. I think that's a big problem for many people, to make sense of the feeling that you're feeling. And that's why solitude is so important. It's like, respect the solitude for yourself and others. So if you need time alone and you tell someone, yeah, I just need some time, you know, it's not even like I'm trying to, and I just feel like you shouldn't even have to explain that, but sometimes you do. Like when you need time alone, sometimes people might be offended by that. Like, oh, you don't want to be around me? They take it personal. But it's not even anything to take personal. It's actually personal for the person who's saying that they need time. But people are so like into themselves, and they don't take a second to respect someone else's space, that they just bombard people. People are always getting bombarded by others that lack understanding. That's that etiquette I'm talking about. There's just certain things that people need to be aware of when it comes to dealing with people. And I feel like that's something, to me, is simple, but that's not simple for everyone. Some people, they have a different way of seeing things, but I feel like that should be a universal thought, to allow people to process. I've even had like friends in the past that I could tell when they get snooty, but I don't know. It's just like I know that they're going through something, so I'm like, all right, I see you, all right. Like, you know? And then later they'll be like, how do you deal with me when I get like that? Because I get like that. I know how I feel, but I handle it a certain way where I know that I need to disconnect. I need to detach sometimes. I feel everything. So being that I feel so much, I just need to detach. Because when you're someone who's very empathic, you pick up on other people's emotions too. That's another thing. And sometimes detachment helps you to sort through if you're feeling your emotions or someone else's. And I feel like that's also another thing that many people might not even realize that happens. But just think about it like this. When you're around someone, family member, friend, whoever, it doesn't matter, and they have an attitude about something, or they're frustrated about something, and they're giving you that energy, you could get pulled into that vibration. That's a real thing. Like, that's powerful. It's like you get vacuumed into it if you don't stop that from happening, and if you're not mindful and aware, you know. So giving people space is actually a gift. I feel like it's actually a gift to the universe. I don't know why Spirit wants me to say that, but I have to see. Giving people space is a gift to the universe. It allows the frequency to flow, because I'm hearing that there's blockages in the frequency oftentimes when people don't know how to let people be. Then messages that many are supposed to receive, they can't get them because of things like this. This is a new one. I mean, maybe I've said it in a different way, I've thought about it in a different way, but I don't think I've ever thought about it in like this. Giving people space is a gift to the universe. It's like a gift to the spirit realm. Understanding each other, being understanding of others' emotional state. Because emotions are a lot to deal with, you know. Emotions can make you feel like all over the place if you don't control them. And this is why so many people are outside wilding out. Because they have trouble maintaining their emotions. So they often flip out on people before they don't think. They don't think about what they're doing before they do it. Then they end up having to suffer consequences, where if they knew to take a step back and stop and think, or just go into solitude and walk away from situations, that decision that they made in that one moment would change the course of their entire life. So when someone does not want to give you their space, it's like they're blocking that cosmic flow of energy to connect with your crown. It's a blockage. And there's so many blockages. There's so many beautiful souls that have messages that are like really waiting for them to receive them, but there's too many blockers around them, too many distractions, so they're not receiving the message that is actually meant for them to receive. This causes a delay. It causes latency in the mass ascension, stuff like this. These are the little things that cause problems in the mass ascension. It's still happening, but it causes setbacks, because other people that are supposed to come forward, or that are meant to come forward, regardless of how they choose to use their will, there are people that are supposed to step forward in this time. And even in times of the past, there was many people that were supposed to step forward, but they didn't because there was too many blockages around them. So they never got a chance to step into the light that they were supposed to step into, or that they were meant to step into. Now, back to these messages. So please, be mindful of this. When somebody needs time, leave them alone. Leave them alone, okay? Leave them alone. Let them take their time so they can come back and then be like, I'm sorry. I had so many people be like, I'm sorry I acted that way. I'm like, oh, I know what was happening to you. I know what that feels like. So I know. When you are able to evaluate yourself and you know what's going on with you, you have It's like your mind's eye becomes crystal clear, and you can see the same thing that you saw in you in others. So it makes you, you just want to give the grace. The same grace that God gives you, you want to give that to other people. It's like an automatic. And this is what we need around here. This is what is not here like that. It is, some people have it. Some of you do, but not everybody, man. Not everybody. It's missing, okay? So just be mindful, and don't be shy to tell somebody, look, I need some time. Please respect that, okay? Because I have some things that I need to do right now. So please, space, please. Space. I need to take up all this space right here, right now, because I have to sort these things out that are in my mind. So if you could be so kind to leave me alone. Thank you. You see? It doesn't have to turn into, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that with me? Okay? Let the people be. And the people need to let you be. And then we could all be a little happy, you see? Just a little bit of time, just a little bit of space. It goes a long way. And you never know. You giving someone else space can make your day. Imagine that. Like an aftershock, but a good shock. Like an aftershock of many people allowing people to be and go think without interruption. That's like peace. That's giving somebody peace. When somebody needs space and you don't want to give them peace, or you need space and somebody doesn't want to give you peace, that is what's it called? The disturbing of the peace. Don't let nobody disturb your peace. As soon as you see that, chuck them up. Because nobody has time for this. Nobody has time. This is one of the big problems. And I feel like people don't realize how big of a problem it is, because I really feel like that's a big problem. Like, leave people alone and let them think and give them space, because it's respect. And it's also love. And it's also understanding. And it's also a form of nurturing. Letting someone go and figure it out is a form of being a nurturer as well. Because it's like, once you teach someone that you are okay with them being themselves and exploring themselves and possibly trying to practice what you've already taught them in peace, they feel more comfortable to come back to you and talk to you when something's wrong. They feel more comfortable to express themselves to you when something's wrong. It's making me think about my daughter. Like, she talks to me about everything. And I always wanted it to be that way, so I made it that way. And I always told her, never be afraid to speak to me about anything. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you think it was the most embarrassing thing and the thing that you don't want anybody to know. You can tell me, because I'm not going to judge you, because I understand this world that we're in is an illusion, and we do things that are dumb and don't make sense when we don't know. So I told her, come tell me. But I also teach her not to do things that are dumb, so to try to make sure she steers clear of nonsensical activity. But at the same time, I always wanted her to feel open to come talk to me. And I didn't even expect this to come out, because I was about to end it, but I think somebody needs to hear this. If you scare your child and put them in fear so much that they don't want to talk to you, they're going to go confide in somebody else that probably, most likely, doesn't have their best interest at heart. And they're not even going to give them the right advice. Now, do you want your child to have your advice, or someone else that does not care about them too much, or doesn't even have the intellect to be able to direct them in an encouraging, uplifting way? Like, really think about that. What type of, because that old school way of thinking, that's out the door now. There's an old school way where it's like, it makes a child fearful to speak. That's not good. You won't never know what's really going on with your child if you do that. That's just how I feel. Because nowadays, everything is out in the open. There's nothing hidden. Everything that's not good is out and readily available for young minds to see and be exposed to, and to be manipulated by, and to be coerced into, just off the strength of being exposed to it. So if you make a child feel afraid of you, they're going to have so many questions and no answers. And what's going to happen is that they're going to try to get their answers on their own. And anytime a young person, most of the time, they're not going to go within themselves to try to find the answer. They're going to go external, because there's so many resources externally that they're not going to know about looking within to connect with God and gain a spiritual understanding of the situation. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there. Everything you do, do it with love. I'll see you in the next video.